This is all right. Hello, Weekend Warriors. Welcome to the Weekend Dojo for another episode. I am Ace Red, and this is El Chizo Reviews, and we are talking about Avengers: Infinity War tonight.
Yes, the latest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which, if I had the initial thought, okay, they put a different spin on the characters' personalities, but essentially, if you know what happens in the comics, you're about 3/4 of the way there with this movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm pulling up our chat.
Yeah, let's see what else. What is there to talk about this movie?
Oh, yeah, also, this is a spoiler discussion, by the way. So just so you all know, this is a spoiler discussion. Oh, and hello, Christian Torres. We are talking about Avengers: Infinity War tonight.
So I guess the best way to describe it is it starts where Thor Ragnarok ends.
See, where it starts is Thanos and his group of prophets / followers have invaded the Asgard ship, or Asgardian ship, and has pretty much killed almost everyone on there. Now, it is said in dialogue that a group have escaped, and it has been confirmed that that group was led by Valkyrie, who was the girl that was in Ragnarok with them. So if you guys are wondering what happened to Valkyrie, why she wasn't in the opening, she was the one that led the surviving Asgardians that escaped. Some even will say that Meek and Korg were a part of that group, because you don't see their bodies in the scene.
They do try to give us a good scale for Thanos' power right off the bat, too. They give him a Hulk test.
Say that again?
It does not go well. They give him a Hulk test, and it does not go well.
No, it doesn't. And then throughout the rest of the movie, Hulk is afraid to actually come back out because of that one moment.
Let's see. Where to go from there?
What happens is he kills Loki. After Loki falsely pledges his allegiance to him, then tries to stab him. And then after that, he sends Thor floating into space. And then Hulk gets I can't remember how, but he got sent off to Earth, or flying off to Earth, or something like that.
Through the bifrost.
Yeah, that's right.
Thor asked Heimdall for help.
Heimdall sent him back to Earth, and he ends up landing in Doctor Strange's sanctum.
Yeah, maybe I'll get them to make you a metaphysical sandwich while I'm out there.
But yes, okay, but yes, and what happens after Strange is on or no, after Hulk lands on Earth is Strange and his assistant see them, and then he just starts blabbing off about Thanos is coming, and then we get the logo, Avengers: Infinity War. I believe. And then doesn't it in the next scene? Isn't it open with Iron Man at the park or something like that? Tony at the park.
Yeah, Tony and Pepper at the park.
Yes, and he has that new suit on. Looks like casual clothing at the same time of being
looks like an exercise uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually a nanotech suit. Now, and this actually where it gets interesting. Then Doctor Strange just comes in and has him go to his sanctum with him, and in that discussion we see Banner come back, and they just have that subtle moment of where's the rest of the Avengers, and then because Banner has been gone so long, he doesn't know what happened in Civil War and all that.
Yeah.
Uh.
I don't care who's speaking. Call him.
and then while they're having that discussion, they hear noise coming out from outside, and then you see one of Thanos' minions come in with their big ship. They invade. Spider-Man comes in.
Yeah, and he gets the Iron Spider suit.
Yeah. Well, actually, that doesn't come yet. Then we get a SpongeBob reference.
A SpongeBob reference.
Remember that one wizard dude who's
yeah, Tony called him Squidward.
Yeah, because he does all those annoying speeches throughout the movie. And then Tony called him Squidward and told him to get lost.
Yeah, Tony being a child as always.
Mm-hmm. And then they start. Then this fight starts going out, and then it ends to them leaving, and Tony Stark getting pulled into it, and Spider-Man following him.
Well, Doctor Strange, Tony, and Peter.
Yeah.
All end up in this giant ship, ascending into space. Mm-hmm. They don't. Thanos' minions don't know that they're on right away. In order to keep Spidey breathing, he's given the Iron Spider costume.
And told to go back.
Yeah, of course, he doesn't listen.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what else is going on around this. Thor meets the Guardians.
Yep. Thor meets the Guardians.
And so Rocket and Groot go with Thor to nowhere. No, they don't go to nowhere.
It's literally called nowhere.
Star-Lord, Gamora, Mantis, and Drax go to nowhere.
Yeah.
And Rocket, Groot, and Thor go to the dying star where Mjolnir was forged to get Stormbreaker the axe, which, if you read the comics, shouldn't belong to Thor, but a different character.
Yeah. Beta Ray Bill?
That's the one.
Yep. Though there was a Beta Ray Bill reference in Ragnarok.
There was?
Yeah, in the Grandmaster's building where Thor where Hulk has a big luxury house in, one of the heads on the side is shaped like Beta Ray Bill's head. It's like sculpted in his shape.
Oh, now that you mention it, that is true.
But yes, back to Infinity War. That scene with Thor meeting the Guardians is quite hilarious. Because when they're recovering him, Star-Lord is starting to get really jealous and nervous because they're all admiring Thor. And then, when Star-Lord calls him a dude, and then Drax says, no, this isn't a dude. You're a dude. This is a man.
Just drive the nail in a little deeper, Drax.
Yeah. Even funnier, Thor thinks that the Rocket Raccoon and Groot are the smartest of the group.
Well, we'll just let him think that. Can I just say, I think the fact that they've... Okay, so whenever I'm getting into a fantasy role-playing scenario and the option is presented to me, I will always pick dwarf as my race, just because I think, in fantasy, dwarves are friggin' awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I love they included a Nordic dwarf.
Oh, were they like giants?
Yeah, but they picked Peter Dinklage.
Oh yes, the irony in that too.
Well, I think what they were trying to do was give him realistic proportions.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that he was giant, I think they put in afterwards.
Mm-hmm. So that's like an ironic dwarf. Kind of.
Kind of, sort of. Keep in mind that in the Marvel Universe, size is relative.
Oh, that is true.
So while that goes down,
Mm-hmm.
Captain America, Black Widow, and Black Panther, Falcon,
Yeah.
take Hulk and I think it's just Hulk. Oh, and Vision, who was attacked.
Yeah. To Wakanda.
For the Mind Stone. To Wakanda to get Vision fixed up.
Yeah.
And to protect the Mind Stone, to try to successfully remove it from his head without killing him.
Mm-hmm. And then Bucky joins the fight.
Yeah, he gets a new arm, and Cap gets his new shield.
And then we get this is where everything starts to. Oh yeah, another thing. And then on the other end, we got Thanos. After when the Guardians go to nowhere, and it turns out to be an ambush trap to get Gamora there to lure Gamora in. And then it was to lure her in, and then Thanos takes her, and then after that, they find the location. He finds the location of the Soul Stone, and then we go there, and this is where it gets really surprising. This is like the whole mind breaker, one of the biggest mind breakers of the movie.
Oh, keep in mind that throughout this whole thing, he's gotten a hold of the Soul Stone, the Power Stone.
No, I'm actually referring to who was guarding the Soul Stone.
I was going to hold on just a second. Throughout this time, Thanos, got a hold of the Space Stone and the Power Stone.
Actually referring to guarding the Stone.
Then there was, I think he got. Tony and Strange met up with the Guardians and held their last stand on where Thanos got the Time Stone.
But back to the Soul Stone scene. You remember when he takes where Gamora leads him to that planet where the Soul Stone is?
Yeah.
Remember when we find out who's actually guarding the Soul Stone?
Yeah, Red Skull.
The Red Skull. So we find out that after the events of Captain America: The First Avenger, when the Red Skull was holding the Tesseract in his bare hands, he was teleported off into space to that planet where he was given the task of guarding the Soul Stone, and get until the one who is worthy to possess it comes in to retrieve it, but he himself cannot possess the stone itself or any Infinity Stone. Now the question is, though, this actually brings a question. Now that it's confirmed he's alive, and he's been alive all this time, hasn't aged a single bit.
I think the question is he really alive?
Okay. So you think like his soul was like doomed to an eternal purgatory until task is done?
He's trapped in a state of neither living nor dead.
Okay. But the fact that they brought him back, do you think that he will appear in a future Marvel movie to fight Cap again? Or do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Or do you think this was just made as like to answer the question of what happened to him? To those.
I think this was made to just answer that question.
Okay. Do you think this was planned from the beginning, or do you think this was just very improv? They were pulling through past movies to see what they could do to connect, and that made the most sense for how the Soul Stone was.
They've been working up to this for a very long time. I don't think anything here was a mistake.
Okay.
The whole point of a big event comic like this is to tie up loose ends or set news stories off on their course.
Mm-hmm. So the whole Red Skull being alive was planned since the script of, or possibly before the script of First Avenger. It's safe to assume.
Not the entire script, but they had been. I imagine that all of these movies had been carefully laid out.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, anyways, so Red Skull tells them that in order to possess the Soul Stone, you must sacrifice something you truly love. Gamora doesn't thinks that he's failed because she doesn't see him loving anyone, but it turns out he actually does love Gamora. So then he kills Gamora by throwing her off a cliff, and then he gets the Soul Stone, and then makes his way to Earth, or specifically Wakanda, to possess the Mind Stone, which is the last stone he needs to complete his goal.
They ask Scarlet Witch successfully destroys the Mind Stone, but Thanos has the Time Stone, winds time back, and gets it out of Vision's skull, killing him. Thor attempts to kill Thanos, fails, and Thanos he snaps his fingers and wipes out half the life in the universe.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I just want to ask if you want some ice cream.
No, not right now. Sorry about that.
Let's see, where else is there to go? Well, we know who we're not going to be seeing in the next Avengers films.
Vision, and Gamora, right?
Well, we're going to see Vision, Gamora. We're also not going to see Spider-Man. We are not going to see...
Actually, anyone who has been turned to dust will be coming back.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the next Marvel movie.
Avengers, you mean? Well, thing is, this was part 1. Part 2, and here's how it works. This was part 1. It was supposed to all end in a pure, like, depression. And then part 2 is where it all gets restored. You remember Doctor Strange said he went through 4 billion outcomes of this battle, and there was only one where they won. And remember at the end he said this was the only way. So they had to lose in order to win.
But anyway, we saw Spider-Man die. We saw Black Panther die. We saw...
Question is, did they even really die? If anything, they could have been sent to a mirror world.
No. That Thanos' goal was to kill half the life in the universe.
Okay. So them turning to dust was them actually getting killed then? It's not really being...
Yes, they are dead.
Okay.
And unfortunately for Loki, apparently the rules are like Dragon Balls. You can only be wished back once.
Mm-hmm.
We see Thanos kind of run off to Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And thus the movie ends.
It ends with him...
Now I want to talk... Yep. Now Thanos, they wrote him as a great villain because of how he thought he was in the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it really made you see him want to fail more.
Mm-hmm. See, with him, his idea was, it all started with his race was starting to destroy themselves, if I'm correct from what he said, and he offered a solution of killing half the population in order to save it as a whole. And his race ended up dying because they wouldn't listen to his philosophy or his idea there. So then he made it his goal to, even though he went mad with it, to save life itself by destroying half of life to save the rest. Now,
they definitely, if you read the comics, the reason Thanos does it in the comics is because he's in love with Lady Death, the female embodiment of death.
I'm going by the movie right now, though, for the sake of...
I know. I was just saying it was what I was saying was it's interesting that they cut that section of story out. It was kind of a big element.
Mm-hmm, it was. Well, with this, it was actually, I think they did it to make it more real, I guess. Even though it wasn't real enough already. But I've actually been reading stuff on Twitter about it, and some people have tried to compare it to Hitler's ideology of Nazism.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hitler thought he was doing something for some good purpose.
Here's the thing that at least makes Thanos more justifiable. He didn't pick and choose based on race, gender, and all that stuff. He chose that completely.
Okay, that is fair. That is very fair, but it's still, even if it ends up, benefiting the surviving half in the end, is there ever really a justifiable reason to take someone else's life away from them without their consent?
Exactly. There is a high moral standpoint you got to question yourself for if you're really gonna say that taking life to save life is a justifiable action.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see where people would make that comparison. Obviously, they're both very, very twisted people.
And really harsh decisions, too.
But with Thanos, being a little more fancy. Okay, it's funny you should bring that up, considering that he had to talk to Red Skull.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was a Soviet, but...
Red Skull was a Soviet?
Yeah.
Okay, so he wasn't... I know... Oh, that's right, because when in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, or the first Avenger, he actually... his original plan was to overthrow Hitler. And
yeah,
he really had nothing to do with the Nazi Party at all. He had his own agenda. And he was literally
he was forming Hydra.
Yeah, and he was literally just leeching off of the Nazi Party's resources for Hydra. If I'm correct, right?
I believe that's true. Yes.
Yeah. So you would consider the Red Skull more of a communist then?
I would say that he is definitely part of the Soviet Party. That's the origins of Hydra have always kind of been tied to the Soviet Party during the Second World War.
That makes a lot of sense now, because they never really clearly stated. They more visually stated it in the MCU, but they never straight up said it. Like around Winter Soldier comes in, you start seeing a lot of the ties to like Armin Zola, who worked with directly with the Red Skull, and then him.
There was a red 5-pointed star on Bucky's arm.
Yes,
it's Soviet.
Yeah, and then Zola was the one that made the arm for Bucky after amputating his arm and putting it in and then brainwashing him to be the killer for Hydra.
The Winter Soldier, yeah.
So we can safely assume that Hydra was a bunch of undercover Soviets who infiltrated the Nazi Party. Right?
I believe that's how it went down. I can't remember the Captain America movie right now.
Well, they never mentioned it, and they never mentioned the Soviet influence of Hydra within the first Captain America movie, and they never mention it anywhere else other than it's visually shown that all of the Winter Soldier's ties go to the Soviets, and then Zola is also heavily involved with the creation of the Winter Soldier.
Back on the subject of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know we're not seeing Bucky again.
Oh, we will. Again.
Bucky is one of the ones who died. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Currently, are you trying not to like spoil the next movie?
I'm not really sure how to put it, because I can't make a fair prediction as to who's coming back first in the first movie.
Let's go with this way. There is going to be a Black Panther 2. There's already a Spider-Man 2 coming out next year. That's officially confirmed. So yeah.
Yeah. So.
And there's Doctor Strange coming out.
Yep. But I think most importantly, what we got to look forward to was revealed in the post-credit scene.
Oh yes, Captain Marvel.
Yep. I'm not sure what to expect from it. I'm fairly certain it'll just be another origin story movie. So.
Well, it is. It's going to take place in the 90s. And apparently she is, from what I've gathered so far, because it involves, it's S.H.I.E.L.D. in the 90s and Nick Fury. And I guess she is the first superhero that Nick Fury's encountered. I think this is what really pushes him to start the Avenger Initiative. Now, I don't know much about Captain Marvel other than pictures I've seen. Is she like OP or something?
From what I understand, she's
because
I don't know too much about the Marvel version of Captain Marvel. I'm more familiar with who they call Shazam now.
Oh yes, yep. But yeah, because from what I hear people always saying that Captain Marvel is gonna kick Thanos' ass easily. So is she like extremely overpowered or something?
She's flight, super strength, etc. But I'm thinking they're gonna bring in Adam Warlock. They hinted towards it in Guardians Volume 2.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking up the character and seeing how powers. Miss Marvel's current powers include flight, enhanced strength, durability, and the ability to shoot concussive energy bursts from her hands. Question is, how can she fight Thanos? Because people are saying that she can kick Thanos' ass easily.
I'm not seeing. Do you need a tissue or something, dude?
Huh?
You're sniffing a lot. Are you okay?
No, I'm fine now. I just had a cold earlier.
I don't know that it's going to be Captain Marvel. Like I said, they at the end of Guardians Volume 2, they hinted at the creation of Adam Warlock.
That'd be interesting.
And he can kick Thanos' ass.
Oh. Now the question is, will he be a good guy though? Because remember the people that created him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they created him to kill the Guardians, didn't they?
Adam Warlock is to the Soul Stone what the Vision is to the Mind Stone.
Oh, okay. So, Protector of Life then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Because you remember in that movie, remember the people that made him? They were like, like gold android things or whatever, and they had like a.
Well, they were designed genetically.
Okay. And
But Adam Warlock, he does actually have skin and hair like that.
Okay. Because I know what he looks like. Question is he gonna be made for devious purposes? Because that's what I
Well,
got.
it wasn't Vision made for devious purposes? Who wanted to make the Vision?
Oh yeah, Ultron, right?
Yeah. Same
Okay.
deal with Adam Warlock.
Okay,
It's the
so
same thing.
okay, it connects
It's
now.
the same thing.
Okay, so he's originally made to kill the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then something will eventually happen that prevents him from continuing that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, I can't say for certain what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would like to see some of the other Avengers teams start cropping up.
Okay, one second.
Like the Dark Avengers.
So like we talk Dark Avenger, we talking like Deadpool, Punisher.
No. Agent Venom.
Oh, okay. I meant like
Wolverine's
Daredevil.
son, Iron Patriot.
Okay. So you think like we could like bring in Tom Hardy for that then?
Maybe.
For Venom, like because rumor has it that Venom is really in the MCU, but it's from Spider-Man's perspective of the MCU.
Yes, well, Agent Venom is not Brock Turner.
I know it's Flash, but let's be honest, the Flash Thompson that we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't want him being Agent Venom.
Well, he does come around. And keep in mind, he's in the Dark Avengers for a reason.
Okay. Well, would you cast that kid who played Flash Thompson? Would you have him become Agent Venom?
I think it would be funny as hell to have him be, unresponsive to the symbiote, or whether the symbiote can't control him for one reason or another, and then he's forced into a situation he wanted no part of.
Uh-huh. Well, because remember, Flash in Amazing Spider-Man or in Spider-Man Homecoming was depicted as a complete irresponsible asshole.
Yeah, but I'd like to see how he develops.
Okay, I can see that. I'm not gonna jump the no way train yet. Just from what I've seen so far, I feel
and then
like
there's like
Agent Venom would be treated more as the butt of a joke rather than an actual character.
and then there's like the Secret Avengers.
But before they can actually do Agent Venom, we at least a part of the symbiote has to leave Eddie Brock.
That's what his name, Eddie Brock. Yes, you're right, and that is very true. But that's where the Venom movie comes in.
Yep. Let's go into that now. Predictions, just because that's the next Ant-Man and the Wasp, and at this point, I'm going to consider Venom a part of the MCU just because Sony has said that all the movies, the Spider-Man spin-off movies, are from Spider-Man's perspective of the MCU. So I'm gonna go off of that right now.
I'm gonna say we're not gonna see anything of Venom until after Spider-Man comes back. I'm thinking we're gonna see like Infinity Wars kind of creep into Secret Wars.
So, do you think that the Venom movie is going to take place like in the timeline if it's officially in the MCU before Infinity War? Then
no. What I'm thinking is Infinity Wars is going to become Secret Wars, and it was in the Secret Wars comic where Spider-Man got the black suit.
Okay. But the thing is, the Venom movie we got that's coming up. are we going to say that that's a different symbiote than the one that latches onto the Peter?
No, it would have to be the same symbiote.
Okay, you think they're going to pull like a reverse where it latched onto Eddie first before Spider-Man? Then
No, it would have to latch onto Peter first to have the spider design.
Mm-hmm. Because have you seen the Venom trailer yet?
I have not.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, the only way that it would have the spider design on it is if it met Peter first
From what we've
to
seen,
try to adapt to his powers.
okay, from what we have seen in the trailer so far, and what we've seen of his body, he does not have the spider design on it.
That will be kind of weird and a little irksome.
Yeah, it will be. Here's a few ways it could play out. I have a theory. Because they're taking off the Do you remember the storyline where you had this thing called Project Life, and they were a like group that's found a wreckage ship that had symbiotes in it, and they took them in and started experimenting on them.
Yes.
And so in the trailer, it showed Eddie Brock investigating this group because they've been rumored to have been killing their test subjects in the process of testing on them, and he was investigating, and he got a tip to go in, and a symbiote latched onto him, and now the movie's about him, them after him, and from what we got in the trailer, and him bonding with Venom.
I don't think it's going to go down that way, simply because the connection between Venom and Spider-Man is too crucial to the character.
So you think this trailer is misleading, and there is a connection? They're just trying to keep that under wraps until you've actually seen the movie? Because Tom Holland was spot on set.
In the Secret Wars, Spider-Man does go into an ancient facility where he discovers the symbiote.
Okay.
I imagine what's going to go down is probably he's going to have the black suit for the Secret Wars, and he's not going to carry it over. Instead, Tony's probably going to have Peter put the black suit back.
Okay. So then maybe Avengers Part 2 somehow is what leads into Venom, and Venom just happens to come out before that?
Probably.
And then we get like snippets, hints of what's going down, or what may go down in Avengers 4, or subtle explanations within Venom, how the symbiotes got there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think we've pretty much talked ourselves out.
Okay, I think so. Well, next movie. Let's see. Next movie we should do. Oh yeah, Deadpool comes out in 2 weeks.
It does?
Yes, 2 weeks. Due to let's see. I'm gonna look at our calendar real quick so we can come up with a. So we should definitely do another movie talk on that. Calendar May. Yeah, it comes out on the 18th. Let's move the Deadpool talk to June 1st, or June 2nd, I mean. Saturday, June 2nd. Because then we give it 2 weeks for the sake of spoilers. And remember, on the 26th, we may have a guest. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you all so much for watching, as always. Remember to enjoy your weekend and tune in tomorrow for the revival of an old bit we used to do.
Yes. Should I tell them or leave it a surprise?
We'll leave it a surprise.
Okay. All right. Well, till tomorrow night. See you later, Weekend Warriors.